everyone, welcome to GTC. Thank you for attending this year's conference and thank you for attending our session. This panel will discuss how TÜV SÜD, one of the world's leading testing, certification, and auditing and advisory services companies, is streaming NVIDIA CloudXR from Microsoft Azure with InnoActive to enable deployment of VR training for automotive inspection and maintenance anywhere, anytime. Let's go ahead and meet the panel. Our panel Daniel from InnoActive, Gahar from Microsoft, Oswin from TÜV SÜD, William from NVIDIA, as well as myself, who will be moderating this panel. So let's go ahead and go over the business problem and solution. Virtual reality is the ultimate medium for training. It enables highly immersive experiences that closely mimic the real world without the risk, cost, and physical location requirements of in-situ training. In fact, Statista has shown in 2019 alone, there are 23 million jobs that were enhanced by VR and AR. They project that by 2030, there would be an increase of 800,000 jobs to the VR and AR space. With this large increase, we can imagine that VR training will continuously grow in the ecosystem and continually be showcased as something that can be done anywhere, anytime, by anyone with access to a VR headset. One challenge with traditional VR, however, is that headsets must be tethered to computers with high-powered GPUs, limited immersive experience, and complicating deployment. NVIDIA CloudXR streaming from Microsoft Azure solved this problem by bypassing the need to be tethered and instead delivers VR and AR wirelessly to compatible VR headsets. Another associated challenge is management and deployment of VR training content across multiple devices, users, and locations. TÜV simplifies this process with a scalable enterprise VR training rollout that has been deployed to their customer TÜV SÜD. We're going to give you a deeper dive into VR training in the factory throughout this presentation. But first, we're going to show you a video of this solution to give you a better glimpse into how we've tried to solve for the problems previously presented. Awesome. All right, at this time, I'm going to go ahead and hand it over to my colleague Gahar from Microsoft.
Hi, everyone, and thanks for the opportunity to present over here. So, Veronica, just to sort of give you a sense for what Microsoft Azure is and what sort of a role we're playing over here is we are really the underlying infrastructure layer upon which CloudXR and the InnoActive solution runs. And one of the places where we differentiate ourselves is the number of data centers that we have. We have over 100 data centers all over the world. What that basically means is, as a customer, you're never far away from one of our data centers, and you can use our infrastructure anywhere in the world. Layered on top of that is multiple layers of physical and digital security, which I can talk more about, but really, we're probably one of the most secure cloud environment in the world. Beyond that, we are also highly compliant. We have over 50 that I know of, regulatory compliances all across the world from multiple governments, which really sort of differentiates our offering compared to other cloud providers. So whether it's a commercial customer, whether it's a government customer, any kind of a situation, we are well suited for any such requirements. Finally, we have this idea of purpose-built infrastructure. What that basically means is that we are not just designing infrastructure for hyperscaling or convenience. We are really understanding what your use case is and designing specific virtual machines for that. Now, whether you're in the area of visualization, whether you're in the area of rendering, simulation, or what have you, we have specific VMs dedicated for each of those, specifically suited to your use case. That's another differentiator that Microsoft has compared to our competition. So in a nutshell, we're the largest public cloud infrastructure network in the world, 61 Azure regions. We're highly secure, and we have a trusted foundation and security layer at Microsoft. Thank you.
Thanks, Gahar. So my name is William Kennedy. I'm Technical Product Manager here at NVIDIA, and I focus specifically on our XR solutions. And I want to talk a little bit about CloudXR, and specifically the XR streaming component of the solution. What CloudXR effectively does is it really tries to address multiple use cases for using VR and AR and XR content from a real sort of enterprise user perspective. Depending upon what your focus is and what you're looking to achieve, the outcomes are fairly similar, whether you're a surgeon looking to get some simulation-based training, or whether you're an architect looking to render a design and review it before the actual final build. We're looking to really increase productivity for the underlying application and really try to drive better outcomes and enhance customer experiences. So no matter if you're looking at providing better training components or better training pieces, really the end goal is to create just better results and better experiences. And where traditionally things have been challenging is when you look at simulation-based training and using VR to do that, there's some real hardware components and challenges that have to be first understood and then addressed. Specifically, when you look at the actual raw pixel counts, the actual imaging that is sent to a VR headset, even though the actual pixel maybe, or the actual size of the display might be smaller than your traditional television, the actual pixel count is significantly more. You're effectively sending dedicated pixels to your left eye and your right eye versus a traditional display where you have a singular windowed panel that you're sending information to. So there's the actual raw pixel count that is more, plus the fact that you've now taken a device and have attached it directly to effectively your face. So any deviation or any sort of odd experience that you would have within that environment, you're going to notice far more and have a far greater impact on than a device or a display that is several feet away from you. And so it becomes really important to capture head position and have it reflect the actual image you're looking at. And where things become also challenging for a real immersive experience is the tether. Traditionally, when you render an experience, you need a beefy computer to do that because you want to work with these really dense, immersive models and content. And while that's a great material to work with, you generally have to be connected to a device through a tether, through a cable in order to do that. And this really pulls away from the immersive experience that you would have when you're into your model. Simulation-based training gets more realistic, the more realistic the training appears. And when you're having to deal with components and cables and tethers and effectively limited in your range of motion, it really breaks down sort of that experience that you're looking to drive for. And really what we're looking to achieve is bring better, greater immersive experiences to drive better outcomes. The other thing that's been interesting that has changed is networks have changed. So we have the introduction of Wi-Fi 6 networks. We have 5G networks that get involved now, and then your traditional Wi-Fi and Ethernet-based networks. And as networking components have improved, the interfacing between devices on those networks has gotten a bit more complicated. So how do you connect a 5G network with streaming content versus a traditional Wi-Fi network? There's differing sort of components that make it really, really challenging to kind of figure out where one device begins and the other one ends. And so when you take a look at specifically how do you deliver streaming full fidelity, rich content in a way that removes the technical limitations of the local device and also doesn't require a tethered approach, you've now given a user a fully immersive rich environment that really helps with their belief that the experience is as real as it could possibly be. It helps with their training and their work. And this is where CloudXR really helps drive the experience for customers who are looking to stream full fidelity, rich immersive content to traditionally wireless mobile devices of sorts. So your wireless headsets that don't have the local compute and rendering capabilities can now be active participants on remote servers that are driving and rendering full fidelity rich content, taking advantage of the advances in networking that have been available. So leveraging a 5G network to enable that experience, or leveraging a Wi-Fi 6 network to be able to drive that experience. These become active components in delivering an end-to-end suite of solutions that allow you as content creators to be able to build what content you want to build without having the limitations of decimating it and making it simpler so that it runs on a local device. You can now build what you want to build, host it on remote servers that are intended to actually work with that information in full fidelity, and then deliver it via a stream to a CloudXR client device that consumes it as if it was physically plugged in, even though they're located anywhere else in the world. And we've been very aggressive with our iterations with CloudXR. And so when we first started in October 2019, you can see we're up to we're at a 3.0 version right now. And we've added some improvements that really have been guided by what our customers are asking us to make easier for them. So, we've added capabilities to work with differing hardware devices. We've added some AR components as well. And then we've also added bidirectional audio capabilities, which allow collaborative content to be created within the cloud. So as we continue to iterate and work, we're really, really excited to see where our content creators and where really new work can be forged using CloudXR. Thank you.
Thank you, Will. Thank you, Gohar. This was a great presentation of these two very important building blocks which we use to develop our solution. So my name is Daniel. I'm founder of InnoActive, and we have a solution to actually bring VR training to large audiences in the most easy way for them. And thank you for bringing these awesome technologies to us. This really enables what we do. So the thing where I'm sure all agree is that VR training is the future to educate people. But the question is how to actually reach the people with the technology. So people are either in the field, they're at the home office, or at the office with their desktop PC. So actually they don't have a VR headset most of the times yet. And our mission is really to bring immersive training to all of them in the best possible way. So if you look in detail, what the challenges are out there is that the trainees are just not familiar with this VR technology yet. There's a lot of different formats and technologies around VR training, like 360 interactive video, like real-time interactive VR, and so on. Different engines. There are VR devices out there owned by the company like Legacy VR, but also new VR coming out every year. And like VR training is also like a pretty sensitive topic because you need to keep the training content secure. So there's strong IP in it, and really, in order to get the most out of it, need to hook it up to the learning management system. So there are roadblocks ahead, and with InnoActive Portal, we are solving them. So we have identified there are a lot of best practices out there. You need to make it as easy as possible for the people out there to get access to these great VR modules. You need to address them where they are with the device they have. You need to have a solution to protect the IP and integrate it with the learning management system, and then you can roll out VR training successfully. So how can we make that happen? How can that be possible? So we have developed a solution which allows enterprises to continue building VR content as they want, which embraces all this variety of content, may be built with Unity, Unreal, for standalone VR, for PC VR, maybe even for desktop 3D. And then you can upload everything to Portal, the cloud service, which is hosted on Azure. And under the hood, there's a lot of stuff going on. I will go into that in a minute. But what you can do with that is that you can just offer your users the experience and the access to all these applications on the device they have. So you can select a standalone VR headset. You can also deploy to PC out there, to PC VR, or it can even stream to a web browser. So how is CloudXR and Azure helping to make that possible? We'll show this in a minute. So if you look at the complexity actually, which needs to be covered, it's incredible. And with Portal, we make it possible that you can, as you can see here, you can almost cover all kind of scenarios where people want to have access from their device to a certain kind of VR application. So for example, with Portal, which is embedding CloudXR and Azure and hosted in Azure, we can stream PC VR applications to standalone VR devices with a click. You can also stream PC 3D applications to a browser. And you can also stream standalone VR sessions to a web browser, to multiple trainees, for example. So how is this all possible? Well, from a user perspective, as said, it must be as easy as possible. So we make it possible that the user can access a VR training session with one click from the learning management system. So he clicks on run this, for example, in Oculus Quest. Then he just needs to connect the headset with a 6-digit PIN, and then the VR session is started automatically in the headset. So that's therefore the VR training catalog is accessible with one click to everyone everywhere. So now let's look under the hood. How is this possible? So we do have obviously the learning management system and the app developer, and Portal allows to link to the LMS and the app developers to share their applications on Portal. When the user gets the assignment in the learning management system and he enters a 6-digit PIN on the Portal web client, then Portal, which is hosted in Azure, decides if the user started a PC VR application, but he has a standalone VR headset, that the application needs to be transferred to a GPU server, which is running CloudXR, and then streaming it to Portal standalone VR client. And then the user gets the VR experience as planned. So you see, this is one example, but if it's a standalone VR application, then obviously this is not rendered in the cloud, but downloaded to the VR device and then launched there accordingly. So thanks to the technology of NVIDIA and Azure, we were able to serve a lot of customers. And now I'm very happy to hand over to TÜV SÜD, to Oswin Breidenbach.
So thanks, Danny, and all others before introducing. Now we're going to be kind of practical. Everything what the three guys before me told you is kind to be shown how we at TÜV SÜD are using it, and it works really in real life. So first of all, who doesn't know TÜV SÜD? I'm Oswin Breidenbach. I'm from the TÜV SÜD Academy. That's kind an academy inside the TÜV SÜD group, which is kind of over 150 years old. We're kind of 30 years old. And originally we're from Germany, located there with 20 locations, and we have around over 150,000 participants who are coming to us to do kind of training in 650 different topics, and with over 3,000 trainers just only in Germany, where they're doing all kind of technical trainings with our participants. We're not only in Germany, we're also worldwide. The Business Unit Academy, in a nutshell, we are in 10 regions worldwide. That means not only countries, it means regions for us. Also, we have over 3,000 trainers worldwide, so it's around 6,000 we have, and 200,000 participants per year worldwide. So that is really a big load of people we have to train. And of course, that's the thing where VR comes in. This is our portfolio, kind of. And you see they're kind of soft skill stuff, but of course, as we're an examination institute, in the TÜV SÜD group, there are things like energy and plant electrical engineering, construction sites, fire and protection stuff, mobility, and so on. And of course, it's very technical, what means that sometimes there have to be whole trainings where, how shall I say it, where technical stuff has to be trained practically by them. That means, of course, we are using not only real practical stuff, we are now with the new media are using also VR 360 and serious gaming and sometimes even AR to train the people safe without letting them getting into danger, getting them injured or leaving them to hazards kind of. So they can even sometimes make mistakes and are safe while doing it. So how we worked in the past with VR? Well, we had single lighthouse projects for our trainings. For example, with high voltage, e-mobility, and loading security in VR. And because of COVID-19, we skipped kind of a year our VR stuff and modeled it over to desktop versions. Which also worked via VCs, virtual classrooms, but of course wasn't as immersive as in VR. And of course, you know, if you do VR, it's not so cheap to do this. Our VR apps were kind of about 45 to 60K in euros. And well, you can do some of these VR apps, but well, somewhere there's kind of, money is running out. So how did we do it? Like I told, in Germany, we've got 20 locations, worldwide even more. We did the distribution over a network drive. That means our apps were copied to a network drive or via a USB stick to our network drive, kind of not even a cloud or something. It was a cloud, it was a normal drive where you can find in your Explorer. And from there, it was copied by our people to VR laptops, and then the people were trained. Of course, it worked. It's kind of old school. And of course, it was a practical way, but it wasn't kind of the cool way, the modern type, how you should do it. We were kind of successful with our VR apps, of course. In Germany, we're kind of the benchmark in some stuff. And we had a great market response out of these VR apps. So many came and wanted to license them. But of course, even we tried when it was sometimes quite labor intensive. The most times we had to say, no, we're not possible to do it because of several stuff like it's not safe that we give it to them. We have got sensible CAD data inside them. Yeah, and that was the thing when we thought, okay, how could we, for us internal, make it easier to share VR apps, and of course, how can we give it to others, other companies, or even customers that they can use it too? Because we don't only want to build VR apps for using it at our own. It's kind of learning practical with VR to be safe, to work safe. And of course, it's not only for us, it's for all people. We want to help them and train them with it. So just to see our German VR locations for you, it was quite a bulk, and there are many locations there, and handling with USB sticks and network drive isn't so easy because even the people who are there aren't as technical as I am. So sometimes it was quite a phone call from somewhere from Germany. Yeah, how can I handle it? What's going on here? I need your help, and that's not so easy. So we needed a one-click solution kind of. And that's a fact that we thought, okay, the coolest thing would be we would have our VR apps like they are. We would load them up on a portal, kind of course, in a cloud like it should be today. And then there should be an easy distribution to our training centers, TCs, and our customers. Well, wasn't easy to find a solution until we talked to Interactive. And yeah, we found a strong partner with Interactive, and now we kind of one of their focus partners, and that's what came out of it.
Hello, my name is Oswin Breidenbach. I'm Information Manager at the TÜV SÜD Academy, and I'm responsible for virtual reality and immersive media inside the TÜV SÜD. At TÜV SÜD, our mission is to bring safety to the people. That means we want to protect them from hazards and to give them a safe workplace. At the academy where I am, where we normally bring around 150,000 people per year through our courses, some things have to be trained in practical exercises. Virtual reality is really kind of a game changer because people are coming to us doing virtual reality trainings with a standardization, with a procedure that is one fit, and they can get into dangerous situations and train on them. We partnered with Interactive because we wanted to give our customers really easy access to our VR apps. The biggest advantage of the Interactive portal, of course, is the cloud rendering. If you got your VR app, you're rendering it on the Microsoft Azure cloud and then streaming it via NVIDIA CloudXR into different headsets. We've built 7 VR applications for Tenet VR. Now it's possible with streaming over the cloud to bring them to even standalone devices. Now, as we are really device agnostic, it's really simple for our customers to deliver our VR apps to their employees, and they just have to click on one button, and that's it. Our ambition is to have a standardized training all over Germany at 20 locations. With our work at TÜV SÜD and our VR apps, thousands of people will get safer workplaces in future.
So we'll take a little deep dive inside there, like Daniel already showed on his slides. The VR Academy is working. It's online already since IIA, where we went on the market with it officially. And normally, like Daniel said, if you would have a VR headset, you just would have to go there, run in the cloud, and then connect it to the VR headset. What at the moment isn't possible because I haven't one here, but at work, we're just putting in these 6 numbers which are showed inside the glasses, and then it's working. What I can show you is kind of like we told before, there's not only VR we're using, even we are using PC games or 360 for kind of training people, of course, serious gaming, for example. So I go here inside the switching authorizations for e-cars. So for example, you've got a little PC game kind of it where you can switch it to English, where you can switch off a car, an e-car, for example, and you can handle it like a normal PC game and do kind of everything which is needed to deactivate an e-car and to work safe on it. So you've got here ticking boxes and so on. So this means the portal and so on is not only for VR, also there are other applications possible, like this here, serious games or 360, and also could be streamed. At the moment, it's not so cool to do it because the broadband wouldn't fit here. I would have to go to work, of course. So, and even 360 stuff is also working. For example, you've got a hazard transportation lorry, and how you are used to, of course, you can go to this 360 and explore all these viewpoints, of course. Yeah, of course, you can explore it by yourself. Just contact Daniel in Interactive or us to take a bigger deep dive inside. So I just go on with the presentation. Well, now we are able to deliver our apps to the market. That's what we wanted, of course, but that's not everything. the portal gives us. Well, we upload our apps to the portal, deliver it like we want it, but also now we are able not only to use our own apps, we're also able to use the interactive portal here to use a license model with it. That means we have our apps, they're on an interactive portal, and every customer who wants to use it can license it for a year license, and then can see if the VR app is that what he needs or not. And if he needs it, he can go on and take it some years longer, and even gets always updates with it. So that's even quite easier in the portal because it's kind of a push update. It means you're getting asked if you want to have an app update, if it's available, and then it's just one click and you have the newest version. It's not like before copying it from the network drive or USB stick to the PC and looking if it's working. It's just one click now. That's quite cool. Even the second thing is what's even much more cooler for us. We are using now foreign apps. Foreign apps does mean foreign apps can be used at our training centers, but even as we are an open VR academy, suppliers can bring their VR apps. We can co-brand it we are just prove it if they're inside the TÜV SÜD Academy quality guidelines. It means usability, means didactics. And for example, these 4 apps already on the portal, and we're doing a revenue share with the suppliers. So of course that all parties are winning out of this. Yeah, to make a win-win situation. And of course, now all good apps which are on the market are being shared for everyone and can be used. So that makes it easier to afford VR, of course, for smaller companies, or not to have to develop them by themselves. So just in a nutshell, the advantages of our VR Academy. Now we have got our one-click rollout via the portal, plus a monetization of VR, Serious Games, and 360. All of that. That's quite cool for us. And of course, this means this is kind of a USP in this field, because I don't know any VR Academy which is quite such open in the technical field, where you can deliver your own VRs, even foreign apps, which are quite demanded sometimes in the market, but because of CRD data which are sensible inside there, they are not able to be shared before, but now they are, because they're security mechanisms behind. Daniel could talk hours about it, how safe it is. We even tested it, so it was really cool and our solution for everything. So I'm now done, and I think we got a Q&A after, and thanks for hearing.
Great. That was amazing. Thank you, everybody, for sharing your insights and sharing more about your technologies. I know I really appreciate it. I know others would as well. So at this time, we're going to move into a time of Q&A, which is really exciting. We're going to review a few common questions that are typically asked, as well as questions that we got preluding this presentation. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and ask a few questions that we have here. So starting off, the first question we have is actually, how many locations have a T4 cluster? And I believe that's for you, Gahar.
So currently we are in 20 locations across the world. All of these are Azure Hero regions, for those who are familiar with how Azure is organized. But this is really dependent on customer demand. If there's a particular part of the world where there's a lot of demand for T4, we can make those available at a fairly quick clip. And then it's really dependent. Like basically, I guess the key message is, like, as a customer, you're never far away from a T4 cluster. We have GPU clusters all over the world, on every single continent on the planet.
Great. That's awesome. Thank you for sharing that. And then moving on from T4 clusters, which is really important, to the InnoActive portal. There's a question here, I believe, for you, Daniel. How do we get access to the InnoActive portal?
There's a sign up on our website. You can go in and then have a try. Very easy.
Awesome. Love it. That's
Quick and
great.
easy.
Quick and easy. Awesome. And then here's one for you, Will. I believe this one says, how do I get started? I believe they're referring to CloudXR. How do people get started on CloudXR?
Yeah, I think the easiest way to get started is reach out to your integrated or your ISV, your software partner, who you've probably worked with other enterprise solutions and softwares and cloud service offerings previously. They likely are aware of CloudXR, and they'll know how to move forward or even get in touch with us at NVIDIA to help them out.
Perfect. And then moving on to kind of the meat of VR training. So Oswin, this is one for you. How have you seen VR training expand in the ecosystem?
Oh, really, really good. We've got, because of this portal, now we've got several demands from worldwide business units. For example, India is now going to roll it out all over and getting out to all our customers, because now it's possible and it's quite cool for them.
That's great. That's awesome. Perfect. Here's another one. So how does purpose-built SKUs benefit cost performance Gahar from Microsoft Azure perspective?
Yeah, so Veronica, I think that what we're trying to say here is, at Azure, we really see this as a differentiator and we want to be the best enabler for workloads. So whether, if InnoActive wants to use our platform for developing, we want to sort of really understand what InnoActive's sort of use case is and develop purpose-built infrastructure for that. For example, one of the examples I can tell you is that in some of our SKUs, we actually include NVIDIA Grid licensing. So that's, an easier fit for ISVs to come on. Our visualization SKUs include a physical CPU, which is another differentiator that we have in our infrastructure. So that's really how we really show cost performance and obviously value for ISVs across the world.
That's amazing. Awesome. Thank you for sharing that. Daniel, here's one for you. Someone asked, what is the future for InnoActive Portal? What's coming up next?
Future is bright. So what we are like, the first step was really to make it effective to make a VR training rollout without the hassles. Now the next thing is to really connect the people in a better way. There's like a distributed work all over the place. There's knowledge at place A and knowledge needed at place B. So we will improve to make collaboration easier by connecting, for example, trainer and trainee remotely.
That's amazing. That's amazing. And a related question for you, Will, where do you see the future of CloudXR going?
It's always a tough one to ask because usually you're wrong. But I'll tell you one thing, the whole purpose of CloudXR exists really to do, I would say, two kind of core things, and that is really drive featured rich content and make it a first party sort of citizen of any XR work you do. The more realistic and sort of less kind of cartoony is the phrase I hear a lot something is, the more you believe the experience to be real, which is very critical for training. So we'll continue working in ensuring that level of content becomes far easier to consume on any device. And then the second piece is just continuing to lower the barrier of entry into XR to begin with. In order to consume that really rich content. So that means everything from the actual core devices you're working on to the networks you use to access them, making it very, very easy for somebody to basically do what they do today with traditional media and make it consumable with XR content. We really don't see a difference. So we'll continue working towards providing that gradual sort of integration and progression as much as we can with XR content.
That's great. That's really great. And then a follow-up question to that. So earlier you mentioned that people want to get started, they can go to their ISV partners. What if someone doesn't have an ISV partner? Where should they go?
So if you don't have an ISV partner, we do have a developer zone, NVIDIA Developer Zone, which is a community of developers who are currently working with CloudXR's SDKs, building solutions, and really learning from each other. So you can get access to that at developer.nvidia.com, and just look for the CloudXR section of that page, and we can get you started and kind of collaborating with others who are looking to explore this a bit more.
Perfect. That's great. Thank you for that information. And I believe this time brings us to one final question. And this last question is twofold. So it's meant for you, Daniel, as well as for you, Osman. And this question is, can you dive deeper into the licensing for your platforms? We'll go ahead and start with you, Daniel.
Yeah, so our platform is a cloud service which can be licensed by enterprises with a per application based model with a monthly pricing. So you can sign up and test it. Like our customers, they also have their own licensing model, obviously, because if they want to sell, like in TÜV SÜD case, if they want to sell their content, then they are like putting their own pricing for selling the content on it. So Osman, you might jump on this.
Yeah, right. It's kind of like it's also per app at ours. You got kind of year license model. That means if you want to use, for example, high voltage app or switching off an e-car, you have to license this for a year and get a subscription out of it. So you even can buy bundles, and well, it's kind of, for example, like I told before, it's kind of you can around 60,000 euros per programming such a VR app at the moment. We just say, well, it's too expensive for little companies, but who need it? So it's kind of about around to 4,000 to 6,000 euro per year, and the updates are included. So it's kind of really a small amount of normal VR apps, and so it's affordable for every company.
Great. Awesome. Well, that brings our time to a close. I just want to say once again, thank you to all of our panelists here for just giving us your insight and your thought leadership on this topic. It's really exciting to see where the future is heading. And like you all mentioned, the future is bright. So that's really great. Thank you again to everyone who attended this session. If you have any questions, feel free to follow up with any of us. I'm sure we're very excited to speak to any of you. And with that, I just want to say thank you again for devoting your time. And thank you again for attending GTC. Have a great one, everyone.
Thank you.
Thanks, you do.
Thank you.